Memphis Grizzlies' Ja Morant might be the most explosively athletic player in the NBA today, standing at 6 feet and 3 inches, with a 6'7" wingspan. This season, he has elevated himself to new heights of stardom and brought his team along with him to the second-best regular season record in the NBA. With a rumored 44-inch vertical, he has one of the highest jumps in the entire league. But was it always like that? In this video, let's dive into how Ja Morant's crazy explosive athleticism came to be and how he's using it to dominate the league. During the 9th grade, T. Morant, Ja's father, was worried about his athleticism because Ja wasn't dunking. That's when Mr. Morant got a big tractor tire in the backyard that they used after every drill. He had Ja practice jumping with a soft landing 800 to 900 times a day. After that kind of intense training, his bounce got crazy and the rest was history. Ja attended Crestwood High School in Sumter, South Carolina. He grew 3 inches from 5 feet 9 inches to 6 feet in his first 3 years with the team. The summer before his sophomore year, he played in the Amateur Athletic Union, also known as the AAU. That's where he met his then freshman teammate, Zion Williamson. They played for a small regional grassroots team called the South Carolina Hornets that didn't even have a shoe company sponsor. It was during that summer that Zion first bust onto the scene, wowing scouts and coaches with eye-popping talents. Meanwhile, Ja's first successful dunk came that summer at 14 years old in a tournament at Greensboro. But that didn't mean he started doing it consistently after. According to Ja, until his senior year in high school, he'd only get around 1 dunk out of 25 tries. After that one summer, they both went their separate ways, with Williamson going on to the Adidas circuit and Morant staying behind. He then went on to dominate the rest of the remaining years, averaging 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists in his junior and senior year, and winning the All-Region Most Valuable Player award 3 times. Despite that, he was barely noticed due to Zion's rise to fame. No one offered Ja a Division I scholarship, until Murray State offered one accidentally, discovering him. The story was that in July 2016, former Murray State assistant James Kane was recruiting a prospect named Tevin Brown. That day, the kids at AAU combined were separated into 2 groups for measurements and drills. Those with good marks were sent to the main gym, while the remaining kids, which includes Ja Morant, were sent back to the gym mostly to play 3-on-3. By some stroke of luck, Kane was hungry and went to find some chips. While looking, he stumbled on the back gym and he saw a skinny, lanky, athletic kid dominating a 3-on-3 play. Ja Morant wasn't even on the list of players that he was asked to recruit. He then called State Murray coach McMahon about this amazing kid who Kane thinks was going to be a pro. According to Ja, at the end of the summer before college is when his speed and athleticism started to take off. He enrolled at Murray State University, the college who first discovered and offered him a scholarship. In his first year at Murray State, he enjoyed a solid freshman season as a starter. He averaged 12.7 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 6.3 assists, which was enough to earn him an invite into the exclusive CP3 Elite Guard camp hosted by Chris Paul. With a solid freshman season, with frequent flashes of potential, many NBA scouts were heavily monitoring his sophomore season, and he did not disappoint. He grew to 6 feet and 3 inches and developed his explosive first step, and with that added to that his summer at the CP3 Elite Guard camp, he was ready for a breakout season. He exploded into the scene, averaging 24.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, 10.8 assists, 1.8 steals, and shot an above-average 37% from the 3. With the athleticism came the viral dunks that skyrocketed him to fame. His package of jaw-dropping dunks and dizzying passes became viral and was regularly featured on SportsCenter along with Zion, one of which is this Vince Carter Olympic-like dunk against a poor kid. He became the first player in NCAA history to average at least 20 points and 10 assists for a whole season. He was then named Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, while leading Division I in assists. This left the NBA lottery teams drooling and fans in awe. His play drew national attention that it so finally deserved. With Murray State entering the NCAA tournament as a 12th seed, they drew the 5th seed Marquette, who they beat in an upset behind Ja's triple-double of 17 points, 16 assists, and 11 rebounds. It was only the 8th time a player has recorded a triple-double in a tournament game, and the first since Draymond Green in 2012. By then, he was already a top 5 lock in the draft, and could have gone first if it wasn't for his high school teammate, Zion Williamson. Ja Morant was picked second by the Memphis Grizzlies, taking over the void left by the trade of Mike Conley during the summer. Ja came out guns blazing, averaging 17.8 points, 3.9 rebounds, 7.3 assists as the lead player of the Grizzlies, which gave him a near unanimous vote for Rookie of the Year. Unlike most rookies, Ja wasn't overwhelmed by the size, length, and speed of the NBA. He can hang with anyone because he is just as gifted, but what separates him is his unique blend of wit, skill, and elite athleticism, which he can fully utilize. Unlike some players who can only go from 0 to 100 as rookies, Ja can use his athleticism in bursts, or in full, to accelerate and de-accelerate. For most young players, the game is too fast, but for Ja, he was too fast for the game. In a position that's the hardest to play as a rookie, he is transcendent, combining craft, athleticism, and swagger at a position that overwhelms most rookies. The Memphis Grizzlies didn't need him to develop because he's already a winning player that elevates his teammates from the day he put on his Memphis Grizzlies uniform. Now in his third year, he has elevated himself into a first-time All-Star, while also being in the mix as an MVP candidate before several injuries that sidelined him for 25 games. But he recently won Most Improved Player of the Year because of his jump from All-Star to Superstar, which is arguably the hardest jump a player can make. This season, Ja's physical abilities are catching up to his skill and intelligence, unleashing the full potential of his athleticism. The threat of him making the right play, regardless of stats, improved three-point shooting, and manipulation of the defense has shown the depth of his athleticism. He has a quick first step that leaves players in the dust. He has the ability to contort his body in mid-air to avoid contact and make the right play. He has a straight-line burst of speed that obliterates anyone in the way unless you want to find yourself at the end of a poster dunk highlight reel. And he has a 2-footed vertical jump that can reach so high it can block people's hopes and dreams. Athleticism isn't just about jumping high and dunking. It's body control, quick bursts, start and stop speed. It matters when players do something with it consistently. Ja is a one-of-a-kind, but at the same time he's not. The NBA was filled with players like him, but never got to realize their potential, for one reason or another. He might remind you of Gilbert Arenas, who was a high-scoring combo guard, but with bad knees paired with bad off-court scandals. But there's also Baron Davis, that could explode anytime to make athletic highlight reels, but he was slowed by injuries. And then there was Derrick Rose, with the speed, athleticism, and body control, but unfortunately suffered significant injuries. And maybe he reminds you of Russell Westbrook, who might be the most athletic guard, but only has one speed and rarely seems to be in control. Ja Morant is what Westbrook would look like if you paired basketball IQ with explosive athleticism. With at least a decade of good health, Ja has a chance to be the best among his generation of talent because he has the combination of all kinds of athleticism, but he also has the discipline, skill, intelligence, and personality all rolled into one. He has no ego of, I am the man and this is my team. Ja's personality is more of, I'm here to win, and I will do whatever it takes to help this team win, kind of a guy, and that shows his unselfish playstyle. If all goes well, as we hope to see, Ja Morant could emerge as one of the best athletic point guards we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. What are your thoughts of Ja Morant? Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future NBA content.